Well, Hurricane Igor continues to pound the Bermuda coastline. Just over the last 20 to 30 minutes, we've had moments of very strong winds, some heavy rainfall, and below the beach at Elbow Beach, we've had some very big waves. Right down, we managed to get to the bottom of the hill. Take a look at this video. This video pretty much tells the story. Almost impossible to stand. The waves coming on shore, the wind overpowering, just an incredible force of nature.
Action News reporter Kenneth Moten is joining us live in Atlantic City. What are the conditions there now, Kenneth?
Well, Rob, we have a major development here in Atlantic City. What we thought was going to happen very soon has finally happened. Take a look at this. The Atlantic Ocean has finally taken over the beach here in Atlantic City. I want Tom to just show you just how this water is coming over to the beach. We have not gotten closer to the beach, obviously, but the water, as you can see, is coming closer to us. We've been seeing some heavy flooding along the beach here in Atlantic City, along the boardwalk. That water is getting very close to the Atlantic City boardwalk. Obviously, a lot of preparations were made with boarding up and putting down sandbags along in this area to make sure as that water comes along and crashes along to the shore and it starts to flood here, that if the water is able to go this far, flood this bar that we're seeing right here, pass over the Atlantic City Pier, and get close to these casinos. They want to make sure they've done everything they can to make sure that water does not get into those businesses.
The Atlantic hurricane season is supposed to begin June 1st, but Tropical Storm Alberto jumped the gun last week, churning up the waters off South Carolina. And now a tropical disturbance could turn into Tropical Storm Beryl over the weekend. Two named Atlantic storms haven't happened this early in 104 years.
Now to the tropics, where Tropical Storm Ernesto continues to push across the Gulf this morning. Storm Team 5 meteorologist Kate Parker's in the Weather Center now with new video sent into our newsroom overnight. Kate?
Well, we did see that tropical storm pass right near the coast of Honduras, right near Jamaica, and we're starting to see the impacts of this story in the tropics. Here's a look at some of that video from Honduras as the storm approached. Already you can see the dangerous surf being churned up and even causing some bad beach erosion in some parts. Some video also coming in to us from Jamaica, which got a lot of heavy rain yesterday. In Kingston, the storm left some damage, but it was the choppy waters in the harbor that became very dangerous and even left several fishermen stranded. This storm continues to move towards the west towards the Yucatan Peninsula through the Caribbean. It's obviously something we're going to be monitoring closely over the next few days. We also have two other tropical waves. They are only about having a 10% chance of developing. One is the artist formerly known as Florence, and the other a tropical wave coming off the coast of Africa. So we'll be monitoring those.
Isaac is not a hurricane yet, but soon will be. The tropical storm is slowing down, gaining strength, and seems headed for the moment toward New Orleans. The center of Isaac is over the Gulf of Mexico, about 300 miles southeast of the mouth of the Mississippi River. It's expected to become a hurricane by tomorrow. Watches and warnings affecting 5 million people are up all along the northern Gulf Coast from Florida to Louisiana.
Caribbean, Tropical Storm Sandy is expected to become a hurricane later today. It is heading toward Jamaica and Cuba and could affect the east coast of the U.S. this weekend. David Bernard, chief meteorologist for our Miami station, CBS 4, is watching Sandy. So, David, tell us what's happening with this storm.
Nora, here's the latest. You're right. Sandy's very close to a hurricane with 70-mile-per-hour winds. It's just south of Jamaica this morning, and it's moving a little bit quicker to the north at 14 miles per hour. But let's kind of look ahead as we go into the weekend and early next week. By the weekend, Sandy's predicted to be north of the Bahamas and continuing to move to the north. But here comes a big wintertime jet stream dip with a lot of cold air. And the question is, does this jet stream dip capture Sandy and pull it toward the east coast, or does Sandy just go out to sea?
Destruction at the Jersey Shore from the ground level. So much of that iconic beach town of Seaside Heights is underwater, full of debris there. Parts of that famous boardwalk wiped out. Nightline anchor Terry Moran is there this morning with the latest on the scene from his vantage point. Terry.
What you are seeing up the beach, those fires that you've been looking at, that is the concern they've got here. This is an unbelievable scene. Block after block, mile after mile of this kind of ruins. And in that wreckage behind me, we can hear the gas lines hissing. That is the fear for the people who are here. There are people here still, and they've been told by the fire department that one spark and this town could blow.